Bonus Locked On Senators Postcast, AHL edition. After the Belleville Sens win Game 1 of the division semifinals at home against the Cleveland Monsters to take a 1-0 lead in their Best-Of-5 series. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. Pillsy, your thoughts as you watch this win?
That's a great way to start off the series, Ross. And we kind of saw a bit of, we talked about today, the rest versus rust debate is going to play a factor here as the Cleveland Monsters haven't played in quite a while. And Belleville coming off a tough 3-game series up against the Toronto Marlies. So Belleville, they got their legs in them. They got that edge to them. And they start this game off with a bang. And they got off to a nice early lead. And they dominated at least the first half of this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really took a bunch of desperation in the third period for Cleveland to get back into it. They had as many shots in the third period, 16, as they did total in the first 40 minutes. And Belleville, I thought it was a feeling out process in the first 10, 12 minutes of the game. Nobody wanted to make the big mistake to start off the momentum one way or another. And through that, Belleville, I thought, territorially did well. They had the first chance of the game. Imagine Boko Imama scoring back-to-back first goals. He had one in game 3 against the Marlies. He had a great chance off a beautiful dish from Stephen Halliday, but he just couldn't convert. Ostapchuk gets stopped on a breakaway. I thought that could have been a momentum starter for Belleville, and the chances continued too. Igor had a good one. He was dancing tonight. Couple of good opportunities that just missed on top of the goal that he scored. His first goal of the playoffs. Crooker gets his first goal of the playoffs too. Pillsy, like, it was just an all-around great vibes night for the Belleville Sens when you incorporate too. Matt Sogard, I thought early in the game might have looked a little like unsure. A couple times where he made the save and looked back. But as they needed him more, he provided more throughout the second half of the game.
Yeah, I mean, a 2-1 game where the Cleveland Monsters outshoot the Senators 16-6. Mad Sogard certainly was deserving of the first star of the night here, as he really shut things down in the third period. And then you look at the goal scorers you mentioned, like that goal by Igor, Ross, especially since we know Igor and we followed him for a while. That was just classic Igor. The Senators have a 5-on-3 from back-to-back too many men penalties by the Cleveland Monsters.
Have you ever seen that before?
That's why I tweeted it out. Like, you never see that, and that's where the rust argument comes in here. Guys don't know who's on whose line. They're not sure on the penalty kill, who's supposed to go with what unit or what happened. There's some sort of miscommunication. Twice it happens. So the Sens end up getting a minute of 5-on-3. Unfortunately, the minute does expire, but then Igor is like, okay, enough of this cycling the puck around and taking one-timers. It's not working. I'm going to solve this. I'm going to finish this playoff. And he just comes into the middle of the slot and rips it and scores. And Ross, now that we've heard from Stephen Halliday, the team seems to have taken on the Wyatt Bongiovanni celebration. Yes. So Igor pulls that one off after he scores a power play goal. And it's crazy, Ross. You mentioned it. This is Igor Sokolov and Angus Crookshank's first goal of the playoffs. So they were able to beat the Marlies, mind you, 3-game series, so not an extended time, but to be able to beat the Marlies without two of your most talented offensive players not scoring, that's pretty impressive. So now that those guys got the monkey off their back, you hope that they can light up the lamp a little bit more moving forward.
And it was a power play goal for Igor Sokolov. So close to keeping an advantage, but the penalty came right after the 5-on-3 had expired. So it got them back out into a situation where they're 5-on-5. It was the only power play goal they scored. Cleveland's only goal also came on the power play. It was about a minute and 10 seconds after Angus Crookshank made it 2-0. But let's not gloss over this goal. We talked about it there as quickly as it went in and out of the net. Allegedly, long review. It was called a goal on the ice. You got to think these AHL rinks have an overhead camera. It would have solved everything. We didn't see it. I don't know if they have it, but I mean, it's not like it was a hidden behind a pad, behind a stick. Like, it either went in or it didn't.
Yeah, I was shocked it took that long. And you could even tell Crooker was annoyed. Like, he was like, let's go. Like, I know this was in. And that's one of those things where, you know, sometimes the players try to sell the celly to try to persuade the refs that it was in. But I mean, Crooker absolutely, that was a complete rocket off his stick, and he gives the emphatic celly right away. Like, you don't do that faking it in my mind. And there was no doubt for Angus Crookshank that was a goal. So it is curious that it took so long, but sure enough, he gets his first goal of the playoffs as well. An absolute beauty that our guy, Tyler Clevin, sets him up. The K train might not have had anyone in the trolley tracks, but he sent along a nice cart for Angus Crookshank to just blast right there.
And you can say the same with Josh Curry getting the primary assist on Igor's goal. The passing was really crisp. And again, they're battle tested. They're in the heat of it right now. Stephen Halliday too, just impresses me. He's out there in the last 3 minutes of the game too. Like he's playing. Our guy over in Aussie land, Jimmy Hyde, says, I am getting Logan Brown vibes from Stephen Halliday. And I mean, take the injuries away from Logan Brown, and he was a very efficient player, and similar in the sense of the slowing down the pace, but always feathering the puck right where it needs to be. So I don't hate that comparison. I think for a 4th round pick versus a 10th overall pick ish in the draft, like I take that comparison, and Halliday's looked really solid in the AHL here and in a small sample size. So I wanted to give him a shout out in this game as well, as we pull up kind of, our stars of the game in a sense. We always have Mads up there when the goaltender's doing his thing, a .969 save percentage for Mads Sogard. And he got real tested in the third period. What was your favorite Mads Sogard save tonight, Billsy?
He had a really nice glove save. I forget who it was on, but I just remember looking at that and being like, that's the Mad Sogard I want to see, because it didn't knock off the heel of his hand and lets a rebound go or anything like that. It didn't create any chaos. He just snagged it, holds it, whistle, cool, calm, collective, keep the game at a nice pace that he's comfortable with. And I just thought that he did a really good job of not letting things get away from him. I agree with you. I think at the start of the game, he wasn't quite.
He's looking behind him.
Yeah, I was going to say focused, but that's not the right word. He was unsure of himself, kind of like you said. So for him to be able to settle things down.
He's unsure of himself, kind of like you.
No, I don't think confidence is an issue for you. But that's where Mad Sogard, like, I think he's always best when he can slow the game down. I find when it's fast paced and moving around a lot, he sometimes gets a little scrambly. So if he can control the pace of the game, he's a much better goalie, in my opinion. And that's what he did for that third period. And that's where he's able to get a really good opportunity to show that he can shut the door when it matters.
The Belleville Senators win 2-1 in game 1 of the best-of-5 semifinals for the North Division. On the other side, we'll look into the games of a couple Sens prospects, Zach Ostapchuk, Tyler Clevin. We just talked about Stephen Halliday and Mad Sogard, plus more. On the other side, you're listening to bonus Postcast AHL edition of Locked On Senators, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, and that's what brings home the Calder Cup, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and even level it up to peak performance. They got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. So whether you're into speed like Angus Crookshank, power like Boko Imama, or style like Stephen Halliday, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. It's that easy. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not burning cash. With all the parts you need, but at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Check it out today, guys. eBay Motors.
This bonus episode is also brought to you by Game Time. When you need tickets, you need to check out Game Time. Game Time is the official ticketing app of the Locked On Podcast Network. Because you're listening right now, you're entitled to $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Just use our code LOCKEDONNHL. With Game Time, they've got last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, and they also have the best part for me: no hidden fees. You go to some ticket sites and they add basically double when you check out. No, you can make sure that there are no hidden fees when you go to Game Time. It's all included. It's all in the app. It's all so easy. 2 taps and it's bang in your account. So you can check out the flash deals. You can save more, all in pricing, and the Game Time ticket guarantee, which means that if you find same tickets in the same section or row for less, we'll give you 110% of the difference at Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's a Locked On NHL, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. All right, welcome back. It's a bonus postcast, the AHL edition. Belleville Sens take a 2-1 series lead, and just like that, home ice advantage is kept for now, because the Belleville Sens will have to play games 3, 4, and 5, the final 2 if necessary, after a 2-1 win tonight. Pilsy, which Sens prospect on the Belleville Senators? Let's go with under 22, because we already talked about Igor Sokolov and Angus Crookshank, the vets down in Belleville doing their thing, coming up clutch with 2 goals. Out of the prospects, the younger guys, who stood out to you?
Well, Stephen Halliday is a guy I'll go with then. I think he's 21.
Until July.
Boom. I knew you were going to call me on that, but I was pretty sure he's 21. Yeah, that move he made at the start of the game to get open ice and then feed it over to Imama. Like, Imama knew, like, that was a perfect feed, perfect chance for him to get that one. And then the disher, the bit lives on. Another assist, not a goal for Stephen Halliday.
8 assists in his last 12 games.
8 assists in 12 games, 0 goals. This is what he does. So you love to see it. And Stephen Halliday, he really looks like he fits in. You know, like, it's, if you weren't a fan of the Belleville Senators and didn't know he just transitioned 12 games ago from college hockey, you would have no idea that that's the case, because he is big out there. He's physical. He even had a bit of a shoving match with one of the guys on the Monsters that gave him a hit he didn't like. Halliday got right in the mix. Like, he's not backing down here, and he looks the part. So I think Stephen Halliday had a really impressive game.
I'll agree with you, and I'll go on the back end. My locked-on player from today's LOSP, Tyler Kleven, I thought was really strong. Gets the assist you already talked about, but I want to mention his defensive prowess, and I loved him getting into that shoving match in front of his own net in the third period, because it's just a sign that he's starting to know that he's bigger than everyone, know that he's stronger than everyone, and flex that muscle. I want him to be somebody like we hear Stephen Halliday talk about Imama. Like, guys on the other team don't want him bearing down on them on the forecheck. Well, I want forecheckers to be like, oh, I'm going to take a reverse hit here. I'm going to take a big hit. Or what was also impressive to me about Kleven tonight was he was making quick decisions, especially on his back end when he was getting rims around the boards. And that's such an underrated skill, is being able to play clean pucks when it's bouncing. I thought he handled pucks really well tonight. So I'll be looking for more of that from Tyler Kleven. But Pilsy wasn't great in the loss, -2. But if you just go with the 3 wins this postseason, 3 points for Tyler Kleven, +4 with 5 shots on goal. So he's a guy that's been bringing it, and he's had to step up, mature even quicker with the injury to Dylan Hetherington, and he's filled in seamlessly. So credit to him. Great night for Tyler Kleven.
Yeah, honestly, Ross, I would say, well, maybe we can have this debate, but I would say of all the players on the Belleville Senators, a deep playoff run is most beneficial to Tyler Kleven, right? Like, he's a guy you want playing in big moments, playing a more physical, mean game. And it's in heated playoff series where there's a lot of stakes on the line and you're up against the same team over and over and over again, where that side of him you hope comes out. So I want to see Tyler Kleven all the way to the Calder Cup, because he's a guy that I think is going to get more confident and comfortable being physical, and that's exciting to see. Like, Ross, I was debating whether it's bigger for Mad Sogard
That was
or
my guy.
Tyler Kleven, right?
That's
Like,
what I
I
was
feel
gonna
like you
say.
could argue either.
Yeah, and Zach Ostapchuk's another good one who the organization clearly believes is one of those players where the game's bigger, he plays better. So why not get him into a few more of those?
But we have to mention Zach Ostapchuk left the game after a hit in the first period, I think.
It was
Did he?
that early?
Did he?
I thought it
He
was
didn't
maybe the
come back,
second.
did he?
I can't recall. Now that you mention it, I don't remember seeing him in the third period. So
Yeah,
that's an interesting note. I doubt we didn't even get lineups until the start of warm up tonight. So I don't think that
secrets.
we are in secret season, especially in the
This is the
AHL.
Calder
Because
Cup playoffs, Ross. You can't be tipping your hand.
yeah, we don't have people like Elliot Friedman like sniffing around and being like, oh, the information's going to come out here one way or another. No, the
Well,
AHL, it's lock and key.
unless we could sick the Martian on the streets of Belleville, but I don't think we can send him on a field trip like that.
No, not without a week notice or 24 hours notice. Isn't that what you have to give a tenant to like enter their property? So that's what we'll go with for the Martian there. But I
Yeah.
think what's most important is getting the win tonight as a team. Josh Curry leading the way with a couple huge block shots. Bon Giovanni almost had a goal in the first period. So a lot to like tonight. I enjoyed watching the game. I'm not as confident as you that puck was in the net from Angus Crookshank.
Oh, it was in.
That was pretty quick. And on the other side of things, just a quick note on the Cleveland Monsters. David Juracek, I still see the potential. He's big, he's rangy, but he mishandled a couple pucks in key situations for them tonight.
Starting to understand why the Columbus Blue Jackets said, you know what, we're going to keep you in Cleveland for a bit here. And Yurchek obviously made it very publicly known that he didn't agree with that decision. But you got to think the management team, they got it right on that one. I'm with you. A lot of potential. We're not out here being like, what a bust. That's not at all what we're doing. It's just, this is a guy that could use a little bit more time in the minors, it seems, which is fine.
Oh, another last note from me. Sick hit in the third period. Rourke Chartier on Nick
Yep.
Blankenberg, former
Center ice.
captain in Michigan. Sick. Just open ice. Like, you're not breaking the puck out of your zone without taking some contact. That was a great hit.
Yep, I like that for Rourke. And then I believe it was on a penalty kill, Rourke Chartier. Well, I don't know if he lost the stick or he handed off to a defenseman, but one of the Belleville Sens were down a stick and he was playing. That was like a full minute shift killing a penalty without a stick. And he was aggressive. He was making the Monsters players move quickly without being able to slow it down. So shout out to Rourke Chartier. That guy brings it. I really like Rourke Chartier, especially down in Belleville.
And with 5:30 left in the game, dude, how about the hustle for Boko Imama to beat the defender to the puck? Almost had a chance. Then there's a spinning pass. He gets it at the side of the net. I was like, man, the roof's going to come off this building if that goes in.
Yeah, Ross, it is wild being at CAA Arena. Anytime Boko does anything, especially the kids. Kids love Boko Imama. I mean, it's a fun name to say, so they get stoked anytime they can get the Boko chant going. But he is
I
a
mean,
fan favorite for sure.
and he's rattling the glass every night. So he's like, he makes his presence felt every shift.
Absolutely. Yeah. And any scrum, he's there. He's always chirping. And he has deceptive speed. Like, if you give him time to build up momentum, like you mentioned, it was crazy. He was able to out hustle him. Maybe not the best agility and acceleration, takes a little time to get going. But if he has the space, the runway to do that, you saw it there. Like, he's got the physical skills. He's got the speed. He's got some offensive skills, as we saw opening the scoring up against the Marlies in Game 3. So Boko Mama, fun player to have in Belleville.
For more, go check us out on Twitter at Sens Central. We'll retweet when the Belleville Sens post their end of game availability. Our guy Footy probably chatting with David Bell as we speak. We're going to try to do more of these postcast like videos.
Yep.
Just so, I mean, we got a lot to get to on LOSP. We got more exit interviews coming tomorrow and Friday. So we got a lot to get to with the NHL playoffs ongoing. So we want these bonus Belleville centric videos to hit you right after the final buzzer. Pillsy, any final thoughts?
What a relief it is to win Game 1, especially when you're the team that only has 2 home games and then you got to go to Cleveland for 3 if necessary. Like, that just takes a little, now, not that they should take the foot off the gas or anything like that, but just takes a little bit of pressure off. And I'm stoked to be at CAA Arena for Friday. So it's going to be a good time. And if they can play like this again, good shot at winning.
That's Brandon Piller. I'm Ross Levitan. Belleville wins 2-1 to take a 1-0 series lead in their best-of-5 over the Cleveland Monsters. We'll be back tomorrow about noon drop for LOSP. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.